Hey everybody, welcome to the Coyote Country Lodge. I'm your host, David Herring, and right now we're out on location. We're doing some late season coyote calling, and it's now April 22nd, and we did a really cool stand last night, and we're gonna kind of show you guys how we got into that stand, what that stand was all about, how to approach it, the wind and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go out and I'll show you what our stand was, and then we'll let you actually watch the stand, see what happens, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. So our stand's just straight out there, so we're gonna walk out there and I'll tell you a little bit about the stand once we get out there. All right guys, we just got out to our stand. So this is what we're gonna call. It's a wide open area. We've got a crosswind that's shooting from right to left. So the wind's actually going this way. Sun's gonna be behind us if it pops through the clouds, which is ideal. So crosswind, we're gonna be calling straight out. If you look back over there, that's a truck. It's not a super far walk to get in. You know, I wanna say it's probably, what, 100 yards, 150 yards. So all we gotta do from this point is just kind of drop down. We got some rim rock right here. So when we're going into our stands, generally I'm not talking like this. It's just super, super quiet. And I love rim rock. Rim rock actually breaks up human silhouette better than brush. So sitting up against rim rock actually conceals you a lot better. So ideally what we do is we'd probably put Mandy on the main camera right here. And then a good spot for Gabe and I would be right about here. You can see all the way down downwind. You can see upwind all the way out. I don't know how far it is. I want to say it's probably 500 yards, maybe 600 yards to the rim rock you can see out there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our call straight out. So it's not gonna go upwind. I'm gonna put it straight out in front of me, down about 50 yards. So what I'm trying to do by putting that call there is if a coyote's over there, I don't wanna push it way out. I want it to come right here. If a coyote's way over there, I don't want the coyote to end up over there. I want the coyote to still end up right here. So my shooting zone is literally straight out in front of me. So by putting the call just straight out, so it's just a hair upwind, but it's mostly straight out, best way to do this type of stand. The risk we run with this stand shooting a crosswind is if you look straight over to the right or to the left, there's a knob right there. What the wind a lot of times will do is we'll hit that and swirl and kick back out a little bit. So you gotta be really careful. Your downwind actually can be pushed out a little further. That's one risk we run by doing a crosswind in this stand. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually let you guys see what the stand was, how we did it, and what happened. Well guys, how about that? We actually got it done. So we went through the entire setup with you guys and showed you what we exactly do when we come out, what we're looking for, how we set up. So we got in here, we turned on the call, we started doing our normal stuff that you guys normally get to see. And I'm not sure how long it really was. What you guys just watched was actually the entire stand. That's how long it actually took. From the time I turned the call on until the time the coyote dropped on the ground, we didn't cut any time out. That was it, as one complete string. So I'm saying maybe a minute and a half. I'm gonna have to look later, but minute 15 to a minute and a half, just based on the call sounds that we were playing. But this thing just popped up out of the blue. I'm not even sure exactly where it came from. What I first noticed when I looked down was a light gray shape that wasn't there before. And that's kind of what I'm looking for when we're out, is either the movement, which is the easiest thing to spot, or something that kind of looks out of place that wasn't there before. Now we had the sun behind us, so everything that was out the direction we were calling was lit up really bright, and that is perfect. That's ideal. That's really what you want every time you set up. So this coyote, because the sun was facing it, lit this thing up like a Christmas tree, and that's what I noticed. And I noticed right away it was a coyote. It was the right shape, it was the right size. Definitely wasn't there before, so that's definitely a clue. Started working in. Now I was hoping that this coyote was actually going to come in much closer to us. It was already downwind from the call a little bit, but it was about 215 yards out when I first saw it. This coyote didn't come straight in. What it actually did is a pretty smart thing. It's what they're supposed to do. It actually tried to get much further downwind, and I'm sure it would have come in that way. But here's the problem. When you have a crosswind that we set up on, and there's a little hook and the hill comes out a little bit, jets out a little bit. The problem with working a crosswind that direction is when it hits that hill, the wind will actually swirl and kick out a little bit. And I started panicking that if this coyote gets too deep into that area, it's gonna probably wind us and take off. So I started panicking a little bit and decided, okay, I've gotta get this thing shot. This is my chance, I can't let it go. Shot was a little further than I wanted. I wasn't super comfortable with it, but I had to do what I had to do. It was 175 yards. I was feeling comfortable enough with it to take the shot, which is why I did. The coyote dropped on the spot. Now I'm shooting the Howa 22-250. Gabe's got the Howa Mini Action in 222. Both got Nico Sterling scopes. So guys, try to follow the setups. You know, be careful of your approach. Try to get your sun right. You want the wind right. You want to be quiet when you're setting up. Put the call to an ideal spot to where you're steering the coyote, hopefully where you want it to come in. You do that, you're going to get a ton of coyotes down on the ground. Well guys, how about that? You're probably wondering why we are playing Jackrabbit Distress this late in the year. Simple reason for it is we are super remote. I don't know if a car has been out here in a year or longer, and I definitely don't think these coyotes have been called. So that I'm playing a hunch that if they've never heard Jackrabbit Distress, they may actually come in. They still got to eat no matter what time of the year it is. It's only when coyotes are overpressured, overhunted, and they've already heard the jackrabbit, they heard the cottontail, and everything else that everyone's throwing at them, that you got to start mixing it up with more bird sounds or coyote vocals or some kind of thing to hit a trigger with them. So we elected to go with Jackrabbit Distress, and it actually still works. So guys, if you like our videos, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Coyote Country TV for all three. Also, if you guys want to watch our episodes that we've aired in the past, you can do it straight from our website at coyotecountry.tv. Guys, remember, it's always better being out in the field than it is sitting home on the couch.